أهلا وسهلا بكم طلاب الصف الثاني الإعدادي في حلقة جديدة من حلقات مادة الساينس تحت إشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. طيب, today we are going to make a revision about the whole curriculum and we are going to solve different kind of the questions. Let's start with the first type of the questions here. Complete the following. Number 1, elements in group 1A are called alkali metals as their elements react with what, forming what solution. طيب, we said that elements in group 1A, they are called alkali metals because they react with water and they forming what? They forming alkaline solutions. طيب, the second one, the highest temperature layer in atmospheric layer is called, the highest one, the atmospheric layer that has the highest temperature, it's called thermosphere. And the lowest temperature one is called what? It's called mesosphere. So again, the layer that has the highest temperature, it's the thermosphere, and the one that has the lowest temperature, it's called mesosphere. طب, do you remember the temperature at thermosphere, it equals what? 1200 degrees Celsius, and in mesosphere the temperature equals negative 90 degrees Celsius. 3. From the examples of complete body fossils, we said that we have different type of the fossils. The first one of them, it's called the complete body fossil, and we have examples like mammoth and amber. So the mammoth and the amber, both of them, they are examples of a complete body fossils, as when they found them, they found the complete body or the whole body with the whole details. Number 4, the valencies of alkali metal elements are, the valency of alkali metal, it's monovalent because the outermost energy level, it has only one electron. So during the chemical reaction, they tend to lose this electron and having a valency which is monovalent. And also the halogens, they have monovalent as the outermost energy level of them has only 7 electrons. So during the chemical reactions, they tend to gain 1 electron. So also alkali metals or halogens, both of them, they have monovalent valency. Number 4, halogens lie in group, halogens, they are exist in group 7A. So halogens lie in the group 7A. The second question, here I have a problem, find the temperature at a point of height 2 kilometers. Here I have the height, and the height here is 2 kilometers above the sea level. If the temperature at the sea level is 23 degrees Celsius. طيب, قلنا في البروبلمز once ان انا بشوف ان انا عندي height 2 kilometers, at the first step you have to write the rule, and the rule here that C هنا represent the change in the temperature, it equals H, which is height, times 6.5. So the first step here, I'm going to calculate what? Change in the temperature, and don't forget to write the rule. So the first step, you have to write the rule. So the rule here said change in the temperature, it equals height times 6.5 degrees Celsius. The height here equals what? 2. So it will be 2 times 6.5, it equals what? 13 degrees Celsius. طيب, كده أنا جبت إيه؟ أنا جبت change in the temperature, and I wanted to find the temperature at the top of a mountain or at a height 2 kilometers. So the second step, I'm going to calculate the temperature at the top. طيب, عشان نجيب ال temperature at the top, أنا بنطلع لفوق, so the temperature decreases. So here I'm going to calculate the temperature at the top as temperature at the foot minus a change in the temperature. Temperature عندي تحت عند ال sea level equals what? 23 degrees Celsius minus عشان احنا بنتحرك لفوق، احنا عارفين كل ما بنتحرك لفوق ال temperature بتقل، minus a change in the temperature اللي احنا لسه جايبينها اللي هي 30 degrees Celsius. So here I'm going to write 23 minus 13 and it equals what? 10 degrees Celsius. So again, in any problem, the first step, you have to write the rule, and after that you have to write the calculations, and don't forget the units at the end. Third question, give reason for the atomic size decreases in the periods by increasing the atomic number. When I ask you to give reason, يعني كأني بسألك why the atomic size decreases in the period. So the key word here is the word what? Period. So I'm going to answer according to what happens when we move from the left side to the right side in the periods by increasing the atomic number. طب احنا قلنا the same period, it means that all the elements have the same number of the energy levels. So by increasing the atomic number, what will happen? The attraction force between the positive nucleus and the negative electrons increases, and as the attraction force increases, the atom size will decrease. So here the atomic size decreases in the period by increasing the atomic number. عشان كل ما بزود number of أو atomic number، يعني أنا بزود ال number of negative electrons in the same number of the energy levels، فبلاقي الاتراكشن فورس اللي بتكون ما بين البوزيتيف نيوكليوس والنيجاتيف الكترونز بتزيد. فالاتراكشن فورس لما بتزيد ايه اللي بيحصل؟ النيوكليوس دي بتراي تو اتراكت the electrons towards it، فالاتوميك سايز decreases. اوكي، طبعا الابوزيت بيحصل في الجروب، واحنا بنتحرك في الجروب from up to down by increasing the atomic number. هلاقي الاتوميك سايز increases، وده بيحصل بسبب ايه؟ بسبب increasing the number of the energy levels. في الجروب الatomic size increase by increasing the atomic number, but in the period the atomic size decreases as the atomic number increase. طيب give reason. Don't store tap water in empty plastic bottles of mineral water. ليه مش المفروض ان احنا نستور يعني نخزن الwater in empty plastic bottles؟ طبعا احنا عارفين ان الwater to disinfect it we have to use chlorine، فاحنا بنستخدم الكلورين in disinfection of the water. واحنا عارفين ان الكلورين react with the plastic, so it causes what? Increasing the rate of cancer. So you don't have to store the tap water in empty plastic bottle of mineral water because a plastic react with the chlorine gas. طب الكلورين gas ده جه منين؟ It's used in disinfection of water, so it increases what? The cancer rate أو the infection أو the rate of cancer infection increases. Okay. طيب number 4, pilots prefer to fly their planes at the lower part of stratosphere layer. ليه pilots prefer to fly their planes at the lower part of stratosphere layer؟ احنا قلنا stratosphere layer the air move horizontally, so it's very suitable for the pilots to fly with their planes in this layer, and also there is no clouds. So again, because air moves horizontally and there is no clouds. طيب write the scientific term indicated by the letters K, L, M, N, O. Do you remember what are these letters indicate or represent? They represent what? The energy levels. So again, the letters starting from K till we reach to the letter O, they are indicate what? They are indicate or represent the energy levels. And you remember we said we have 7 energy levels, which are K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, O. Okay. طيب the traces and remains of all the living organisms which are preserved in sedimentary rocks. The keyword here ان انا عندي كلمة traces و remains. So the traces and remains of all the living organisms which are preserved in sedimentary rocks. Here I'm talking about the fossils. Here I'm talking about what? Fossils. طيب when I asked you what indicated by the letters S, P, D, F. Do you remember S, P, D, F? They are represent the energy sub levels. احنا قلنا احنا عندنا في كل energy level it has number of energy sub levels, and they are represented by the letters S, P, D, and F. Okay, so here they are energy sub levels. طيب a charged layer has a role in wireless communication. What is the name of the charged layer that has a very important role in the wireless communication? We said it's called ionosphere, and ionosphere it exists specifically in the thermosphere layer. Number 5, a kind of elements symbolized by the letter B. يعني عندي 2B or 3B, 5B, 4B, all of them they are symbolized by the letter B, and all of them exist in the middle of the periodic table, and these elements are called what? Are called the transition elements. So again, transition element, they are a kind of elements symbolized by the letter B. the traces that indicate the activity of living organism during their life. Here the key word إن أنا عندي إيه؟ traces, only traces, and they indicate the إيه؟ activity of the living organism during its life. ايه التريسز اللي بتindicate ان الانيمال ده كان عايش هنا او كان already موجود في الوقت ده؟ التريسز دي of course this called ايه؟ traces. يبقى التريسز اللي هي الآثار دي عبارة عن ايه؟ traces that indicate the activity of living organism during its life. During what? Its life أو during their life. The traces that indicate the remains يعني البقايا of all the living organism after their death. So here I'm talking about what? The remains. So when I'm talking about traces that indicate the activity of living organism during its life, I'm talking about the traces. But when I said traces indicate the remains of all the living organism after its death, so here I'm talking about what? The remains. The process of conservation of parts of all the living organism in a solidified material as a result of replacing the organic material of organism with the minerals. Do you remember when we talked about petrified wood and we said when the tree dead, what will happen to it? Decomposition. And we said silica, it's a type of the minerals that replaces the organic material part by part, giving the whole details of the old plant. So here I'm talking about the process. The process here, it's called what? It's called petrification. So petrification is the process of a converging the organic material with minerals. Okay, so giving petrified fossil. So the process itself, it's called petrification. Fossils of living organisms lived for a short period of time. Fossils عاشت short period of time يعني فترة زمنية صغيرة, and it has a wide geographical range وكانت already ليها يعني موجودة على نطاق واسع من الأرض. فالفوسلز دي remember they are called what? They are called index fossils. They are called index fossils. So the key word here that they are fossils lived for a short period of time then become extinct. يبقى احنا بنتكلم على الانdex ايه؟ fossils. The fossils present in the rocks of different regions and they indicate the evolution and extinction of living organisms. مين الفوسلز اللي already بتعرفني أو بتساعدني إن أنا أعرف life evolution and extinction of living organisms؟ الكائنات اللي ظهرت الأول والكائنات اللي ظهرت بعد كده ومين اللي حصل له extinction. كل ده عرفته عن طريق مين؟ عن طريق record fossils. So the record fossils, they are fossils present in sedimentary rocks of different regions يعني في مناطق مختلفة and they indicate the evolution and extinction of living organisms. هي اللي عرفتني أو ساعدتني إن أنا أدرس ال life evolution يعني تطور الحياة, وقالت لي مين ال extinction أو ال extinct living organisms. The path which energy takes when transporting أو transferring from one living organism to another one inside the environmental system. The path of the energy between the living organisms in the ecosystem, this is called what? This is called food chain. And we said when we have more than one food chain, in this case we are talking about what? Food web. So again, the path which energy takes when transport or transfer from one living organism to another one inside the environmental system, here it's called what? It's called food chain. And when we have more than one food chain, so in this case we are going to talk about what? Food web. Okay, the environmental system that is affected strongly by absence of one species of living organism that live in it. احنا قلنا we have two types of the living we have two types of the ecosystems. Okay, we have simple ecosystem and complicated ecosystem. وقلنا simple ecosystem it has few members, but in the complicated ecosystem it has a large number of the members. Which one of them is affected strongly by absence of one of its species? I'm talking about a simple ecosystem. ليه؟ Because it has few alternatives. أنا ما عنديش alternatives كتير, فبالتالي لو واحد already من ال living organisms دي حصل له extinction, the others will be affected strongly. طيب, what about the environmental system that is not affected strongly by the absence of one species of living organism that live in it? So here we talk about what? we talk about the complicated ecosystem because it has many alternatives. So when one of them is already extincted, the others will not affected. Safe places that are specified to protect the endangered species in their natural environment. قلنا to protect أو to keep the endangered species from extinction عشان نحميهم من إن هم يحصل لهم extinction يعني انقراض. فبدأنا نعمل نعمل safe places أو safe area to protect them in their natural habitat, and we called these places بنسميهم natural protectorate. وقلنا احنا عندنا هنا في مصر في راس محمد protectorate ووادي الحيتان protectorate. Okay, so they are called natural protectorate. What happens if dissolving magnesium oxide in water? Magnesium oxide in water, what will happen? It giving magnesium hydroxide. And don't forget to write the equation. لو في أي سؤال بيجي already الإجابة بتاعتي أقدر أعملها representation عن طريق الإيكويشن، طبعا لازم نكتب الإيكويشن بتاعتنا. فهو هنا بيسألني what happens if dissolving magnesium oxide in water. طب أنا أخدت الإيكويشن اللي بتريبريزنت when the magnesium oxide dissolve in water giving magnesium hydroxide. So I'm going to write it will form magnesium hydroxide, and I'm going to write the equation that represent this sentence. So here I have MgO, which is magnesium oxide. When I put it in the water, so the water here H2O, the chemical formula of water is H2O, and we said it giving what? Magnesium hydroxide. So I'm going to write Mg and between two brackets OH2. Okay, don't forget to write the two brackets. Okay, so here again MgO, which is magnesium oxide, plus H2O, which is the water, it giving magnesium hydroxide اللي هي Mg between brackets OH, and then you are going to write A2. What happens if passing chlorine gas in potassium bromide solution? When we talked about the halogens, احنا قلنا ان الهالوجنز H1 can replace the one below it in the group. يعني احنا لو نفتكر كده كنا بنبتدي الجروب بتاعت الهالوجنز فلورين، كلورين، برومين، ايودين. So H1 can replace the element below it. فاحنا هنا عندي كلورين والبوتاسيوم برومايد، يعني انا البرومايد ده بيريبريزنت ان انا عندي برومين. do you think chlorine can replace bromine? Yes. ليه؟ عشان الكلورين بيجي قبل البرومين في الجروب بتاعت الهالوجين, so it can replace it in its salt solution. فهنا ايه اللي هيحصل؟ الكلورين هياخد مكان البرومين فجيفنج هيديني بوتاسيوم كلورايد, and bromine will released out. So here I'm going to write chlorine replaces the bromine giving potassium chloride. طيب هل في equation تقدر تعبر عن الكلام ده؟ فلازم نكتب الايكويشن دي. فهنا انا بقول كلورين, فانا عارفه ان الكيميكال او السامبل بتاع الكلورين هو Cl, و don't forget to write 2 عشان احنا عارفين ان الهالوجينز they cannot exist individually كده in the nature, they are diatomic elements, فلازم نكتب Cl2 plus KBr اللي هي البوتاسيوم برومايد. Okay, so it's called KBr. Then احنا قلنا الكلورين can replace the bromine, so here I have KCl which is potassium chloride and plus Br2. طب انا ليه كتبت KCl؟ ليه ما كتبتش KCl2؟ عشان احنا عارفين ان البوتاسيوم الفالنسي بتاعه مونوفالنت والكلورين مونوفالنت, فلما نيجي نكتبهم هنكتب KCl بس. تمام, وطبعا هنحط 2 و2 علشان تبقى الايكويشن بتاعتي balanced chemical equation. وبرده البي ار لازم لما اجي اكتب البي ار لازم اكتب بي ار 2 عشان البي ار من الهالوجينز, والهالوجينز they are exist in a diatomic. Okay, they are diatomic elements. The third one, drinking water polluted with mercury. Do you remember the chemical pollution of water? احنا قلنا we have different elements, they causes different type of the diseases. كنا بنقول mercury it causes what? Blindness. So here I'm going to write it will cause blindness. طب let's have a quick recap كده about these diseases or these elements. قلنا أول حاجة we have lead, and lead causes what? Death of brain cells. mercury causes blindness. We have arsenic cause liver cancer, and all of them they are caused by the chemical water pollution. locate the position of the following elements in the modern periodic table. Here I have Ne 10, calcium 20 و sulfur 16. طيب the first step to locate the position of any element we have to make what? Electronic configuration for the element. فأنا عندي هنا النيون 10 so I'm going to make electronic configuration to 8. طيب to locate أو to determine the number of the group we are going to look about what? The number of electrons in the outermost energy level. هنا في outermost energy level احنا عندنا 8 electrons. 8 electrons ده معناها ان outermost energy level ده is saturated by electrons. واحنا عارفين ان saturated by electrons دول موجودين في النوبل gases او الانرت gases ودي بتكون النوبل gases او الانرت gases كلهم موجودين في جروب 18 او الزيرو جروب. فهنا النيون exist in group 0 or you can write group A 18. طب what about the period؟ قلنا علشان نحدد رقم البيريود اللي موجود فيها element we are going to count the number of energy levels. So here I have 2 energy levels. So this element exists in period 2. The next one, here I have calcium. Calcium 20. So the first step where you are going to make electronic configuration. The 20 they are going to be distributed as K with 2 electrons, L 8 electrons, M 8 electrons, and the N has 2 electrons. Type. To locate the group, you have to look at the outermost energy level here. It has how many electrons? It has 2 electrons. So this element exists in group 2. Do you think I'm going to write 2 and 2 only? No, you have to write the letter A. So here it exists in group 2A. But about the number of the period, so you are going to count the number of the energy levels. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 energy levels, so this element exists in period 4. The third one here, I have sulfur 16. The first step that you have to make what? Electronic configuration. So here it will be 2, 8, and 6. What about the number of the group? You have to look at the last energy level here. It has how many electrons? It has 6 electrons, so this element exists in group 6A. What about the number of the period? You have to count the number of energy levels. Here I have 3 energy levels, so this element exists in period 3. Choose the correct answer. The first one, each period in the modern periodic table starts with the what element? احنا قلنا all the periods أو each period in the modern periodic table must start with a metallic element. So the first one, it will be metallic element. The second one, normal atmospheric pressure, it equals what? Millibar. احنا قلنا normal atmospheric pressure يعني pressure at the sea level, it equals 1013.25 millibar. Space is located between stratosphere and mesosphere layers. Between the stratosphere and the mesosphere layer, we have stratopause. So stratopause is the region between the stratosphere and the mesosphere layer. Number 4, space is an example of microfossils. احنا قلنا we have 2 types or 2 examples about the microfossils. We have foraminifera and radiolaria. So here we are going to choose the foraminifera. Here you have to correct the underlying word. Chlorine element has the smallest atomic size. احنا قلنا مين عنده smallest atomic size? It's fluorine. And the biggest or the largest atomic size, do you remember, it's called cesium. So the largest atomic size cesium and the smallest one is fluorine. The second one, chemical pollution of water causes many diseases like typhoid and hepatitis. Which type of water pollution causes these diseases? We have a biological water pollution. The thermometer is a device used to measure the atmospheric pressure. احنا قلنا atmospheric pressure is measured by a devices called barometers. But thermometer used to measure the temperatures. Number 4, Rutherford discovered the main energy levels. احنا قلنا the scientist who discovered the main energy levels, it's called Bohr. Neolite fossils are used to determine the age of sedimentary rocks. We said that we have type of fossils, they are called index fossils, and they are used to determine the age of sedimentary rocks. So here instead of writing numerolite we have to write a index fossils. طيب zero group contains active gases. احنا قلنا zero group it contains what? Inert gases or noble gases. So you have to write noble or inert. From the most important greenhouse gases is what? Do you remember the greenhouse gases? We have carbon dioxide gas, water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, and here I'm going to write carbon dioxide gas because it's the most important one, or the most one that causes the greenhouse phenomenon. Transition elements start from the second period. احنا قلنا transition elements they are exist in the middle of the periodic table in D block and they started to appear from period number 4. So here instead of write second period it will be fourth period. Okay, number 9, the normal degree of ozone layer it equals to 100 Dobson unit. طبعا the right one is what? 300 Dobson. So again the normal degree of ozone layer it equals what? 300 Dobson. Ultraviolet has thermal effect with a short wavelength. طبعا احنا عارفين ان الالترافايولت it has chemical effect and the rays that have thermal effect they are the infrared radiations, but the ultraviolet they have chemical effect. Stratosphere is the hottest atmospheric layer. احنا قلنا stratosphere أو sorry thermosphere is the hottest atmospheric layer and the mesosphere is the coldest atmospheric layer. So here the answer will be a thermosphere. Here you are going to mention the role of the following scientists. تعال نشوف كده. The first scientist here is Bohr, and we said Bohr discovered the main energy levels which are seven energy levels. طيب what about Rutherford? And we said Rutherford discovered that the nucleus of the atom contains positively charged protons. طيب Mendeleev كان it was the first scientist who did the first real periodic table. برضو Mendeleev arranged the elements in ascending order according to their atomic weight. And here we have Moseley he added the zero group, and also you can write that he arrange the element in ascending order according to their atomic number. يعني both of them they are right. Here we have another problem. If the temperature at the sea level is 39 degrees Celsius, find the temperature at the top of the mountain of a height 4 kilometers. So the first step you have to write the rule. The rule here is to calculate the change in the temperature, and the C here it equals what? The height times 6.5. The height here is 4, so you are going to write 4 times 6.5 and the result will be 26 degrees Celsius. طب أنا محتاجة أحسب ال temperature at the sea at the top. So the temperature at the top it equals what? Temperature at foot minus a change in the temperature, and the temperature at the sea level here it equals 39. So you are going to write 39 minus 26 it equals what? 13 degrees Celsius. طيب look at the following pictures or following figures and then mention the type of the fossils. The first picture here it represents the mammoth, and we said mammoth is an example for the complete body fossil. So here it's a complete body fossil. The second picture here it represents what? Petrified wood. So this is called what? A petrified fossil. This is a fern cast. So the type of the fossils here it's cast fossil. Here you have to compare between the positive ion and the negative ion. Let's start with the positive ion. احنا قلنا positive ion it's an atom of metallic element عشان الميتالز هما اللي بيكون في outermost energy level عندي 1 or 2 or 3 electrons, so they tend to lose electrons giving a positive ions. فالpositive ion it's an atom of a metallic element that loses 1 electron or more during the chemical reaction. طيب what about the number of its electrons is space that of its protons. هنا أنا بلوز electrons so the number of electrons will be a less than that of its protons. طيب it carries a number of positive charge space the number of the lost electrons. once ان element بتاعي بيلوز أو الاتوم بتلوز one electron so it will carry one positive charge. so the number of positive it carry number of positive charge equal to the number of the lost electrons. طيب what about the number of energy levels؟ أنا already الاتوم بتلوز electron فبالتالي هتلوز معاه energy level. so the number of energy levels is smaller or less than the number of energy level in its atom. Okay, its electronic configuration is similar to that of the nearest space preceding its atom in the modern periodic table. احنا قلنا ان once ان الاتوم دي بتلوز electron هي already بتاخد نفس electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas او nearest inert gas that preceding it in the modern periodic table. طيب what about the negative ion؟ احنا قلنا negative ion it's an atom of non-metallic element. عشان ال non-metallic elements بلاقي ال outermost energy level بيكون فيه 5 or 6 or 7 electrons so they tend to gain electrons during the chemical reaction. so again negative ion it's an atom of non-metallic element that gains 1 electron or more during the chemical reaction. the number of its electrons هي بتجين electron. الاتوم هنا عملت gain 1 electron or more so the number of electrons will be a more than that of its protons. عدد الالكترونز هيكون more than عدد البروتونز. طيب what about it carries a number of negative charges space the number of gained electrons. طيب أكيد the number of the negative charge will be equal to the number of gained electrons. طب what about the number of energy levels؟ already ال outermost energy level بيكون فيه 6 electrons or 5 or 7 so the atom will gain 1 electron or 2 in the same number of energy levels. هي already مش بتفقد electrons فبالتالي مش هتفقد energy levels فبنلاقي ان number of energy level in the negative ion still the same so it equal to the number of energy levels in its atom. يبقى ال number of energy levels في ال negative ion بيكون قد ال number of energy levels in the atom. its electronic configuration is similar to that of the nearest بيكون similar to the nearest noble gas following its atom in the periodic table. طيب the opposite figure represent the electronic configuration of an ion. electronic configuration of ion okay of an element. mention the first question here the atomic number of the atom of this element and which block does it belongs to. طيب هنا أنا ده electronic configuration لأين فما ينفعش أقول هو عنده 2 و 8 يبقى الاتوميك نمبر بتاعه 10 فأنا طبعا هبص على النمبر of positive protons عشان احنا عارفين ان في الاتوم بتكون عندي النمبر of positive protons equal to the number of negative electrons. فهنا بما اني انا ما اعرفش الاتوميك نمبر بتاعه كام فانا I'm going to look about the number of positive protons. فانا عندي هنا 11 يبقى الاتوميك نمبر بتاع الاليمنت ده كان كام 11. طيب what about it exists in what block؟ it exists in the S block. اوكي عشان already انا عندي outermost energy level هيكون فيه 1 electron so it exists in S block. طيب what about the location of this element in the modern periodic table؟ قلنا علشان احدد اللوكيشن لازم ابقى عارفه رقم البيريود ورقم الجروب. to locate the number of the او to determine the number of the period you have to count the number of energy levels. here I have how many number of energy levels 1 2 وكان عندي energy level تالت كان محطوط فيه الالكترون اللي هو عمل له losing فهنا الاليمنت ده موجود في period 3. طب what about the number of the group؟ انا عندي ال 11 تاني again هنا K L M يعني 2 8 1 فهو موجود في period كام؟ period 3 عشان احنا عندنا 3 energy levels. طب what about the number of group؟ ال outermost energy level هنا فيه 1 electron so this element exists in group 1A. okay. طيب what about the nearest inert gas for this element؟ هنا ال nearest inert gas اللي هو الاتوميك الالكترونيك كونفيجريشن بتاعه هيكون 2 و 8. احنا هنا بنتكلم على النيون عشان الاتوميك نمبر اوف نيون is 10. طيب what about the type of oxide of this element؟ احنا قلنا الاليمنت ده 2 و 8 و 1. 1 ده بيريبريزنت ان هو metal، فالتايب of oxide of this element هيكون ايه؟ metal oxide، يعني basic oxide. basic oxide. Mention the number representing each of the following. Let's start with the first one here. The height of atmospheric envelope. احنا قلنا ال height of atmospheric envelope it extends at a height 1000 kilometer. The second one, the normal atmospheric pressure. قلنا ال normal atmospheric pressure it equals 1013.25 millibor أو 1013.25 millibor. What about the percentage of water vapor in troposphere layer؟ احنا قلنا troposphere layer it has 99% of the of the water vapor. طيب what about the thickness of stratosphere layer؟ قلنا stratosphere layer it has a thickness equal 37 kilometer. What about the temperature at the top of stratosphere layer؟ احنا قلنا temperature في stratosphere layer بيحصل لها increases until it reaches what؟ 0 degree Celsius. Thickness of ozone layer احنا قلنا الأوزون extend from a height 20 to 40 kilometer. ف الثيكنس بتاع الأوزون هيكون كام؟ هيكون 20 كيلومتر بس. What about temperature at the top of the thermosphere layer؟ احنا قلنا الثيرموسفير layer هي ال hottest layer بتكون ال temperature فيها 1200 degree Celsius. What about the percentage of total air mass in troposphere layer؟ احنا قلنا ال troposphere layer it has a percentage of 75% of total air mass. So all the weather phenomena take place in the troposphere layer due to it has 75% of the total air mass. طيب thickness of troposphere layer احنا قلنا ال thickness of troposphere layer equals 13 kilometer. طيب what about thickness of thermosphere layer؟ ال thickness of thermosphere layer it equals 590 kilometer. Thickness of mesosphere layer هتكون 35 كيلومتر. يبقى تاني التروبوسفير 13 كيلومتر، الستراتوسفير هيكون 37 كيلومتر، والميزوسفير 35 كيلومتر، واخر حاجه خالص هي الثيرموسفير لاير وبتكون الثيكنس بتاعها 590 كيلومتر. طيب what about the temperature at the top of the mesosphere layer؟ احنا قلنا الميزوسفير layer هي coldest layer because the temperature reaches negative 90 degree Celsius. The normal degree of ozone layer احنا قلنا ال normal degree of ozone layer it equals what؟ 300 Dobson. طيب look at the following figure or the opposite figure and then answer the following questions. Mention the kind of bonds X and Y. طب تعالوا نبص كده على البوند X دي، هي موجودة ما بين الهيدروجين والأكسجين ل two different molecules. يبقى أنا X دي بتريبريزنت إيه؟ بتريبريزنت the hydrogen bond. طب what about Y؟ Y it already between the oxygen and the hydrogen in the same molecule. يبقى Y بتريبريزنت إيه؟ single covalent bond. طيب what about which one is stronger؟ Do you think which one of them will be strong؟ السنجل covalent bond or the hydrogen bond؟ طبعا of course السنجل covalent bond will be a stronger than the hydrogen bond. طيب which one is responsible for the abnormality of water؟ احنا قلنا الهيدروجين بوند هي اللي مسؤولة عن ال abnormality of the water properties. يعني هي اللي بتخلي الووتر يحصل لها boiling عند 100 degree Celsius وبيحصل لها freezing at 0 degree Celsius. طيب the figure represent the structure of what molecule؟ here this figure represent the water molecule. طيب what about the angle A here equals what؟ احنا قلنا الانجل between the two single covalent bond يعني between الاكسجين atom وال two hydrogen atoms it equals 104.5 degree. طيب what is the importance of parameters؟ قلنا parameters they are devices used to measure the atmospheric pressure and we said we have two types of parameters. here we have altimeter. وقلنا الالtimeter it used in airplanes to determine the suitable elevation of the navigation based on the atmospheric pressure. الالtimeter بيبقى موجود في الايربلينز عشان هو اللي بيحدد الارتفاع المناسب اللي المفروض تطير عليه الطيارة. according to A أو based on A based on the atmospheric pressure. So again altimeter is used in airplanes to determine what? Determine the elevation of navigation based on the atmospheric pressure. طيب the second type of parameters it's called aneroid. طب what is the importance of aneroid? It used to determine the possible day weather. Possible day weather. بس based on A based on the atmospheric pressure. So again, parameters, devices used to measure the atmospheric pressure, and we have two types of parameters which are altimeter and aneroid. طيب what about isobar? احنا قلنا الايزوبار دي بتكون curved lines that join the points of equal pressure in atmospheric pressure maps. هي بتكون curved lines بتجوين يعني بتجمع كل البوينتس اللي بيكون فيها equal pressure في atmospheric pressure maps عشان نحدد which area has high atmospheric pressure and which area has low atmospheric pressure, so we can determine the direction of the wind as the wind move from the higher atmospheric pressure to the lower atmospheric pressure. طيب what about the importance of Hoffman's voltmeter? قلنا Hoffman's voltmeter is a device used to أو used in the water electrolysis to dissociate the water into its elements اللي هو الهيدروجين gas والأكسجين gas. طب what about Van Allen belts? What is the importance of Van Allen belts? احنا قلنا Van Allen belts they are two magnetic belts exist in the ionosphere layer أو ionosphere layer surrounded by two magnetic belts. They are called Van Allen belts and they help in scattering the harmful cosmic radiations away from the Earth surface. تاني Van Allen belts they help in what? They scatter the harmful cosmic radiations away from the Earth surface. طيب what about liquefied nitrogen? قلنا liquid nitrogen used in preservation of the eye cornea أو used in preservation the cornea of the eye. وقلنا ده ليه؟ because the boiling point of liquid nitrogen equals negative 139 degree Celsius. طيب what about the importance of liquid sodium? قلنا liquid sodium it used in the nuclear reactors بنستخدمه في المفاعلات النووية to transfer the heat from inside to outside the reactor. طبعا عشان الصوديوم it good conductor of good conductor of heat. So again liquid sodium it used in the nuclear reactors to transfer the heat from inside the reactor to outside. What about silicon? Silicon is a metalloid and it's used in the manufacturing of electronic devices. بنستخدم السيليكون في صناعة electronic devices like computers يعني. طيب what about cobalt 60? احنا قلنا cobalt 60 it's a transition element and it's used in food preservation as it emits gamma ray. احنا قلنا cobalt هو من transition elements اللي already can emit gamma rays and gamma rays can stop the activity of the microbes without any effect on the human health. So it's safe to use it in food preservation. طيب here I need you to mention one example for each of the following. Complete body fossil. We said we have amber or mammoth. Metalloid element we have silicon. Inert gas we have helium, argon, neon, xenon, krypton, all of them they are inert gases. Halogen we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all of them they are halogens. What about alkali metal? You can say sodium, potassium, cesium, all of them they are alkali metals. I need example about liquid metal. The only liquid metal هو mercury and liquid non-metal which is the bromine. And here I need an example about endangered bird. We have bald eagle, it's an endangered bird, or we have ibis bird. Both of them they are endangered birds. Example about extinct bird, we have dodo bird, it's extinct. Polar compound, قلنا عندي ammonia والwater, both of them they are polar compounds. طيب بكده تكون خلصت حلقتنا النهارده. اتمنى ان احنا نكون استفدنا ونكون اتدربنا على انواع كتير من الاسئله، وبالتوفيق ان شاء الله. شكرا.